Today I'm talking tight bunch formation because it was one of my favorite formations that we got into last year. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you should be running tight bunch formation in your offense, and then I'm going to show you some game clips at the end, what it looked like for us in our offense here. Welcome to the Spread Offense. I'm Coach Alex Besaw. Let's get into the 3 reasons why you should be running tight bunch formation in your offense. The first reason why you should get into tight bunch is because when you get into this formation, you are creating extra gaps in your run game. And those are extra gaps that defenses have to account for. So by putting numbers close to the line of scrimmage and at the point of attack, defenses have to start thinking about how are we going to defend this side of the field? Are we going to put an extra linebacker in and switch up our personnel? Are we going to protect ourselves by rolling a safety down and bringing him into the box and being more of a single high team? And then the other thing that you force the defense to do is figure out who is going to be the force control player. Is it going to be the corner in the flats, sitting up close to the line of scrimmage, or is it still going to be an outside backer who is trying to press the point in tight bunch? So it's very difficult to defend when you're reducing those splits, getting into tight bunch and bringing numbers to the point of attack. Because you're creating those extra gaps and you're really going to force the defense to make adjustments in protecting those gaps in the run game defense. Now, the second reason for getting into tight bunch is because it is extremely difficult for defenses to cover condensed formations. Now, if you've seen my previous video on condensed formations, then you know how successful offenses can be when they get into these splits. It's just really difficult to defend the pass and the run. You open yourselves up to be able to attack vertically, get two-way goes in your route trees, whether it's breaking in or breaking out. And then also by condensing your splits, you're bringing more guys to the box, which will help you be able to attack the perimeter and get the ball out in space and out leveraging defenses. So not only is bunch great, but reducing your splits and getting into tight bunch is going to be beneficial for your run game and in your pass game. Now, the last reason why you should get into tight bunch is because for us, we are able to run pretty much every single play that we have out of this formation. We run zone schemes and gap schemes, and what you're going to see on film coming up is us running all of those schemes out of this formation, whether it was inside zone, outside zone, a little bit of pin and pull. We run some split zone, and then we also run some power and counter out of it as well. So anytime you can go deep into your playbook with just one single formation, then you're going to cause a lot of problems for the defense because you're not one-dimensional and you're not giving away tendencies. And so when you line up in this formation, they got to basically cover the entire playbook. Okay, now that you got the reasons why you should be running tight bunch, let's take a look at what it looks like for us on film. And these are just going to be clips that I put together in no particular order, but I just want to show you the things that we were able to do out of this formation and the success that we had. So let's dive right in and check out the clips. All right, let's get into the film here. The first one is one of my favorite plays. If you've ever seen my videos, you know how much I love counter. And we are going quarterback counter tray to the field, so away from our tight bunch to the left. One thing that I really like about this that I've done a lot in the past and have had a lot of success with is running this after successfully running power read to the bunch look. So you get into this formation, it kind of all looks like it could be power read with running back running over the toes of the quarterback. You'd be reading this defensive end. If he plays the sweep on the running back, your quarterback's ripping and running to the front side with the guard pulling. If he squeezes, then you give it to the back and he gets to the perimeter with these 3 guys in the bunch blocking out in front of him. So power read to that side is great. And then a nice counter to that is running quarterback counter tray. For us in this play, it was 100% quarterback run. So we're using our point man here to dig out that defensive end. You can still get a read option element on that though, if that's the type of team that you are, and you don't block the DN. So it could be sweep to the boundary or counter trade to the field, depending on what that defensive guy does. For us, we were going to dig him out and block him no matter what. Hey, we don't block it correctly up front, but it does work out for us. We should all be down on the front side, and we should be kicking right here on the stand-up and then wrapping for the first color that shows. But our tackle takes on that defender there, but it works out for us in the long run, and it becomes a big play for us. So you can see in the backfield, there's kind of the power read look it has to it. And then our guard's able to log 13, so we couldn't kick it. Thankfully, he gets his hand on him and pins him inside, and just a hole opens up for us, although it's, like I said, it's not exactly the way it was supposed to look. We should get our tackle down on that backside linebacker. But we get our backside tackle running through the hole, and number 20 kind of plays himself out of the play, gets upfield, and blocks himself essentially. But it ends up being a good play for us, and it happens after successfully running power read. So another nice thing that you can do out of your tight bunch, you can run to it with some full flow and power read, or you can do what we do here and split flow with quarterback counter tray coming back the other way. Now, if you've seen my previous video on layering plays in your offense, then you saw us run toss out of it and the different things that you can do. So I had to put toss in these clips because we've had a lot of success with it in the past 2 years, even with teams that essentially know that it's coming. But we're going toss here to the boundary, and the way that we block up toss with our bunch is we go down with our point, down with number 1, and around with 3. And then we also pull our play side tackle to the front side of it as well. We try to skip pull, keep our hips, shoulders square, and really we want to rip our inside arm off the butt of this down block by our number 2 receiver, and we want to pick up the first color that shows up to the inside. We also can make adjustments. Our number 1, if he feels like he's the most dangerous man right here, he'll go get him, and our number 3 will wrap. He'll still wrap, but now he's looking more inside as opposed for the corner. But it works out really well, especially against defenses like this that are going to stay true to who they are. They're a 2-high team, they're a zone team, and they're not going to add guys to the box. Well, then you might as well reduce your splits and get into a tight bunch look so you can create extra gaps in your run game, and that's what we did here. Perfect look from the end zone copy. You can see, C gap is here. Now, how are they going to handle the D gap once we get into a tight bunch? Well, they just probably made a mistake, and that's a lot of what football is capitalizing on other teams' mistakes. And we were able to do that here in this look by running toss to the boundary. But we've been successful with it quite a bit in the last 2 years, and something that I think you guys would like too. Now, I have this highlighted mainly just from a technical standpoint of our tackle pulling. I'd love for him to be skip pulling around this and keeping his hips more square, and really coming tight around that down block, ripping that left arm of his off the butt of his teammate and his eyes inside. He's too wide, and therefore we miss this front side linebacker, number 28. But fortunately, our running back's pretty good. He puts a spin move on him, and he makes a miss. And our tackle does do a good job of looking for work and picking up 22 and getting color. So it works out for us, but you can just see the nice hole that develops when you create this extra gap here, especially obviously when defenses don't account for it. All right, another wrinkle for our outside zone where we toss it to the tight bunch. Now we're in a Wildcat personnel grouping, and we're still trying to accomplish the same thing. So for us, it's still outside zone. We make a tag that tells our tackle that he's got to pull around the bunch, but you can see the pin and pull elements that it has to it based on the last clip, the end zone copy there. But like I said, for us, it's still outside zone. That's the scheme that we're kind of the concept that we're living under here. And I just wanted to show you this so you can see a wrinkle. That way you're not lining up and tossing it every single time. You can get creative in how you attack it by presenting different looks defensively. So we get in our Wildcat set, and because of that, our second running back's in there, and we just use him as an add-on in the blocking scheme. And he's kind of the personal protector for the running back. He should be leading the way. Running back should be following him, and he's just trying to destroy anything on his path. And it's a great first down play for us, kind of a change of pace to what we do. Makes the defense think because the quarterback's not in. But for us, you can see how great it was for us to get to the perimeter, and we pick up 8, maybe 9 yards on the first play on first down. Okay, here's another wrinkle to the same thing that you just saw in the last clip. I just want to show you different ways that you can get the same thing accomplished. We're not in Wildcat. We got our quarterback in, but we want to do the same thing. And so one thing that I liked getting into was shifting our backfield here. So our quarterback is going to shift behind the guard. Our running back is going to shift behind the center at the last second, and he's going to receive the snap directly from the center. And we're doing the same thing. It's outside zone for us, down, around. And now it's a direct snap to our running back, and now our quarterback is out in front lead blocking for our running back. So just a little bit of a wrinkle. Again, something different that the defense has to account for. What are they going to do when they shift and a running back is behind the center? But one thing that I want you to see also is just this is why tight bunch and condensed formations are so effective is because what it does to the defense. You can see 21 here and the defender next to him trying to talk about who's going to be where and how to adjust to the formation. A little bit of confusion. At first he started outside on the number 1, then he comes inside, and his teammate, this is what condensed splits does, is it reduces the splits of the defense. And a lot of times what happens is they get lost on where they are and what their landmarks are, what their rules are, and they start to stack on top of our formation rather than maintaining leverage and maintaining their responsibility on defense as a force player. So for us, the perimeter is completely wide open to us to attack, and that's exactly what we want. Bring their splits in tight, get our athletes the space, get our athletes the football in space, and attack the perimeter. And here it worked out well for us, and I believe it ended up in a touchdown. All right, in this clip here, we are going inside zone to the left. Another nice thing that I liked about tight bunch for us is that we were able to run our zone schemes, but also we were able to protect our running backs on the backside with our C gap. So our number 3 receiver, he's actually our Y in this personnel grouping, so he's one of our bigger guys, and we use him in this look here for split zone. So we're protecting the C gap. It worked well, like I said, for teams that want to gap exchange off your running back. So if they're going to try to send this defensive end to the back, to the running back, and they want to loop a linebacker around for the quarterback, going into some split zone can help with that, so your C gap is protected off the backside. And that's what we got into quite a bit this past season, and we had a lot of success with it. And we really liked it coming out of the tight bunch set here. So just there's nothing, I guess, extremely special about this, but just showing you the different things that you can run out of your tight bunch, split zone being one of them. So if you're a split zone team, no reason to not get into tight bunch and be able to run it out of this look. Now, I don't love how we didn't come across the formation on the kick out. We didn't really bring any intensity into it, but I'd love to see him screaming across the formation and really delivering the blow to that defensive end. But we still are executing inside zone to the left fairly well, and we pick up some good yards. Now, what you're going to see in the next clip is a slight wrinkle to what I'm going to show you here, but depending on how they want to play you on the backside of this, if they don't gap exchange and this defensive end is real aggressive to squeeze on zone, then you can work back and bluff him, or you can just slip right past him into the flat, and now you're back to your triple option game of reading the defensive end and sending that third receiver out into the flat. So you can do it coming back across the formation, another wrinkle to split zone if that's what you do, and if you're a read option team, you can tag that in there as well to get that triple option look off of split zone. That's kind of what you see here now in this clip. It's not split zone where one of our guys is working back underneath the formation, but we are going triple option here. So now we're lined up with bunch to the field, trying to reduce the splits of the defense. We're going to run zone because that's what we're good at. We're a zone blocking team, although we do some gaps stuff as well. And now we're going to slip our number 1 receiver out into the flat. So if the inside looks muddy, our quarterback's going to rip and run. If the perimeter is open on the flat, he's going to throw it. If not, our quarterback becomes the third option and he runs it. So you can see our number 1 kind of slip into the flat there. Quarterback's not a great snap, probably gets him to rip and run anyways, but the flat is open. You see these defenders, corners, bad eyes in the backfield, and really don't really even see us run by him. But our number 1 receiver slips right past him, open right into the flat, a lot of space to run into, and a pretty big successful play. So a nice wrinkle to your inside zone is being able to slip a receiver into the flat with some split flow action. Here's another look at that. So now we've got tight bunch to the right here, and instead of our number 1 receiver going into the flat, we're going to slip our number 3 receiver into the flat. So we're going to block a 1-for-1 out here, and then our point man's going to come out here on the overhang. So we're going to try to attack the flat space right here. By reducing our splits, we want to reduce the splits of the defense. And then you just saw us run inside zone. Now what we're going to do is we're actually attacking it with counter. So another great scheme for us that we like to run. And so it all depends on how we want to attack the defense. We can do it with zone schemes or gap schemes. That's the beauty of this. And then tight bunch really helps you attack the defense in both sides of the field, making them defend the entire width. So There's counter to the field. Quarterback is going to read defensive end. They bring pressure off the edge. And so he rips and runs, looks into the flat. We do a good job blocking it. But also just our counter look kind of takes number one, this overhang here. And he's influenced with his eyes to come inside based on the mesh point and us probably pulling that he plays himself. He takes himself out of the play. So another triple option that you can do. Now we're slipping our number 3 into the flat. We're running counter off of it, getting our guy the football, makes the guy miss, positive play. This one's actually a post-snap RPO that we put in last year. Now, I wish we would have ran it more, but we had one negative play with it, and it was real negative where we threw an interception for a touchdown. It was a pick six. And, I just didn't want to call it so much after that, but I wish I would have. I wish I would have gone back to it. What we're doing here is we're going tight bunch, and we're running counter sweep. So the same action that you saw before with the toss and us pinning around the bunch, now we're going to go counter, and we're trying to sweep around the bunch on counter. A little bit longer developing play. We're not going to block this defensive end. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to read this seventh defender that's in the box, whether it be a too high safety look or he's here down into the box. If he commits to the run and gets into the box there for run support, we're filling that with a backside slant. So if he doesn't support the run and it's 50-50, not sure, then we're just going to hand the ball off to our running back, and we're all blocking down on the front side. Even here, we're down, we're going to be around, and our guard and tackle, instead of a kick out and a wrap like you would get in GT counter, we're both wrapping around the bunch. So it's a sweep play around our tight bunch. So this is our first look at it this year. And you can see the quarterback's read. He does a great job of flipping his hips. He enters that seventh defender. His read key is on run support. So he rips it, flips his hips, and throws the slant behind it. Now here's another look at the same play. So we're going counter to the bunch. So we should be blocking down here just like that, wrapping it around. We're going to be blocking counter the same way we would. Now there's no kick. We're trying to wrap around it, and he's going to be wrapping it around it as well. We want to read this defender right here. So we're not blocking the defensive end. We don't get a lot of aggressive defensive ends that are attacking the mesh point. Now, if that is what the defense likes to do, this play is obviously not for that. This is more for defense D ends that are trying to read it, and they sit at the line of scrimmage as opposed to attacking the mesh point. So, but that's our scheme there. We want to read this defender. So if he plugs and fills on the backside, tries to run through the gap, we're going to rip it and throw it. If not, any type of question mark at all on what he's doing, we just want to hand the ball off. When in doubt, give it to the running back. And that's what you're going to see here. So we're going counter sweep. It comes all the way around the perimeter. We do a good job with our receivers blocking, although I'd like our number one receiver to be more aggressive, like get in here on 32. He's, waiting to see what happens. That's a shot ready to be taken for our block right there. If we do a good job of sealing that, the outside's pretty wide open. But our backside guard and backside tackle do a great job of running through it. I'd love to see them stay a little bit lower and look for work with their eyes inside, but again, it's another good play for us and something that we can come back to more often. And another RPO for you coaches out there looking for RPOs, especially off of counter. All right, I'm going to show you a pass concept here that I really like that comes out of tight bunch, and it's double post. If you've watched my videos, you know how much I love that concept. If you don't run it, you've got to first check out the videos, and then second, you've got to install it. So this is double post here out of our tight bunch. It's all coverage beater. So we're facing a too high team that likes to play quarters. The read for us is simple. We read near safety to corner. And the concept is post wheel. So from the outside, we get the big post over the top. The inside, we get the post underneath the safety. Our number 3 receiver is going to run his wheel route right behind it. And then the other thing that we do is we like to toss fake out of this. So we run toss to the boundary or toss to the bunch a lot. After having success with that, we'll fake the toss, and that goes into our play action with double post. The other thing, too, is we'll put 4 to a side as the running back after he carries out his fake. He'll also turn up the sideline as well, kind of replacing the wheel route. So I like that, putting 4 to a side, really overloading their zone coverages. And by putting the running back to that side as well, it forces that outside backer who is typically responsible for covering the flats, it forces him down into the flat as opposed to carrying the wheel and being able to take 3 defenders on our 3 vertical routes. So now by putting that running back into the flat, we're getting 3-on-2, three receivers on the safety in the corner. So it's like basketball, 3-on-2 fast break. We read this thing in a 2-high structure. We read it from near safety to corner. Depending on the alignment of the safety, we can rule out that inside post based on where he's going to line up. And because he's still inside, most likely our inside post is going to run dead right into him. So we're looking corner right now. So our read is outside post to wheel. Both these guys come wide open on the outside post and the wheel route. One that our quarterback probably wants to have back, but if we put a good ball out there to either one of them, we're both walking into the end zone. We miss it, which is, it's okay. I want to show you, that's not the purpose of the clip here, is to show you touchdowns, but I want to show you the concept and how you can teach it to your kids and what it looks like against different defenses. So this is against a 2-high structure, and you can see how putting 3 vertical routes on 2 vertical deep defenders causes problems for a defense. So that's double post with the toss fake out of tight bunch. All right, one more from this game, double post out of tight bunch, and it kills me to watch this over and over again because this is another missed opportunity from us. But the point is to show you the concept and whether or not it's something that you can run in your offense. So here's double post out of our tight bunch, and now we're facing a different look from the defense. Before, you saw the 2-high structure, cover 4 team. It was a 3-on-2 fast break. We're reading the near safety to the corner. Our 3 vertical routes are overloading their 2 zones, and we're going to read that safety to corner. So I like to teach it 3-on-2 fast break. When you get into a single high look with middle of the field closed, now I teach it more of a 2-on-1 fast break. So our middle post, our inside post by the 2, is most likely going to be dead on arrival. It's going to run to the safety in the middle of the field. So get your eyes on the corner, and we're going to have 2 vertical routes overloading that corner. Look outside post to wheel. Throw it to who's open. Okay? So that's my teaching with it. 2 high, 3-on-2 fast break. 1 high, 2-on-1 fast break. And you're going to see that play out right here. Unfortunately, we just don't pass pro. We were half sliding to the left, so it should have been a simple big on big to the right, but we turn away from it, leaving our quarterback out to dry. But you can watch the outside post by our number 1 receiver and the wheel route by our 3, just kind of put this corner here in a bind. And if we had protection, it's like take your pick as far as who he'd throw to for a touchdown. And then on top of that, that's why I like putting 4 to the side. The running back's out into the flat. He could be a pressure release for you. But if overhangs want to carry vertical routes, then we've got the flat space wide open to throw it to our back in the pass concept. If the overhang sits on the horizontal pass game by the running back, well, then you only have that one corner up top to take those both routes, and obviously someone's going to be open. So that's why it's such a great concept. Single high, 2 high team. You can see guys overloading their zones and running open. All right, I got to show you some success with double post. I showed you 2 failures. Here's success. This is a predominantly cover 3 team. You can see they're 3 deep defenders over the top, 4-4 defense. And like I just said, we're anticipating a 2-on-1 fast break. So the coaching points to your quarterback in this look is pre-snap read. You can eliminate one of those vertical routes before the ball is snapped. And most likely, it's going to be the number 2 receiver. But he still has a job to do. He still needs to attack that safety, get his attention to take him away from the other routes and not let him get over the top. And so we're going double post here. Number 2, even though safety does pedal and get wide, number 2 runs his route over the middle. You could essentially throw a 1 ball to him in between those linebackers. But we're able to get on top of those routes. At the very end, he kind of jumps that inside post, which is why our quarterback comes back to our number 1 receiver who runs his post route over the top of him. We want to teach an outside release by our number 1 receiver on this corner. So we're really thinking attacking his outside hip to get that corner to weave to the outside, because in a cover 3 defense, his responsibility is to not get beat over the top and to the outside. And so we want to really attack that hip to force him to weave to the outside to give us that inside break that we need on our post route. So you can see that release point by number 1. which allows him to win back inside when he puts his right foot in the ground. And then there it is. Corners put in a bind. Safety takes them inside post. Again, you got the wheel route open too. So great concept. If you're not running it, you've got to put it in hopefully soon. And I'm sure you'll start seeing success with it too. Double post out of tight bunch. Great pass concept to have. Now, when it comes to your best plays on offense, you want to protect those best plays as much as you can, whether it's play action or window dressing with formations or adding some motion for eye candy. A lot of great things that offensive coordinators can do to protect their favorite plays. Now, just like we want to protect our favorite plays, we also want to protect our favorite formations. So if you're curious about how to protect the formation of tight bunch and any other formation that you'd like to get into, then click on the video that you see right here on how you can use shifting in your offense to protect those formations and give yourself an advantage on offense before you snap the ball. So go check that out. I appreciate you guys for being here. Don't forget to hit subscribe below, and I can't wait to see you guys on the next video.